Good morning, pupils. Let's start our lesson. Module 6 Capabilities of Human Brain. The theme of our lesson is multiple intelligence. In today's lesson, you will find out about Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. You will learn some study tips and think about the type of learner you can help. And you will find out which type of learner you are. Now, pupils, let's learn the vocabulary on the topic multiple intelligence. Intelligence, intellect, ақыл. Multiple intelligence, көп қырлы intellect. General knowledge, жалпы білім. Measure, өлшем. Linguistic intelligence, тілдік intellect. Spatial, kеңістіктік. Kinesthetic, кинетикалық. Interpersonal, тұлғааралық. Intrapersonal, жеке тұлғаішілік. Now, let's do an activity in order to assert our today's vocabulary. Your task is to match the words with their definitions. If you have finished it, let's check your answers. Well, intelligence is the mental potential to learn from experience, solve problems, and use knowledge to adapt to new situations. Multiple intelligence. There are different types of intelligence that are independent of one another. General knowledge is information that is useful in many different kinds of tasks, information that applies to many situations. Measure, to determine the size, amount, or degree of an object by comparison with a standard unit. Linguistic intelligence is a potential to learn and use spoken and written languages. Spatial, relating to space. Kinesthetic, sensory perception of movement and position. Interpersonal, concerning or involving relationships between people. Intrapersonal, existing or occurring within your own mind. Well done! According to Howard Gardner's theory, there are 8 types of intelligence, but today we will learn 7 of them. Now, let's listen to Dina talking about types of intelligence. You may make notes about your study tips for each intelligence.
There are 7 types of intelligence, each of which will require or will suit a different learning style. If you're stronger in the linguistic style, then what you would like to think about is to have flashcards for difficult concepts, or maybe have extensive notes. If you are stronger in the logical or mathematical style, one thing that you would like to do is to organize your notes in alphabetical order or numerical order, so that it's very clear where the information is going. If you're a spatial learner, there are 2 things that you can do. You can either use graphs or mind maps. So if you're stronger in the musical type of intelligence, then you are lucky, because you can use music to remember rhythm, to remember concepts, and to remember words. So if you're stronger in the bodily or kinesthetic type of intelligence, then there's one thing that you can do. Think about real life examples. This will help you think about relating to the concepts. So, if you are stronger in the interpersonal type of intelligence, then there are two things that you can do. On the one hand, you can set up a study group. On the other hand, you can talk to a classmate about any problems, concepts, or ideas that you cannot clarify. So if you're an intrapersonal type of learner, then there are again two things that you can do. Remember to keep a journal about your progress, and also remember to study in a quiet area where no one is going to disturb you. So these are my tips for the 7 types of intelligence. And remember, everyone has more than one type of intelligence, so learners can use more than one tip.
Well, pupils, let's do an activity on what you have learned from the video. So the task is to match types of intelligence with a set of abilities. Well, if you have finished it, let's find out the right answers. Well, linguistic intelligence includes reading, writing, talking, listening. Logical and mathematical, using numbers and reasoning. Spatial intelligence, driving and navigating different vehicles. Musical intelligence, playing and composing music. Bodily kinesthetic, playing sports, acting and making things. Interpersonal, understanding and communicating with people. Intrapersonal, understanding yourself and reflection. Well done! Now pupils, let's do the test in order to find out which type of learner you are. The task is on page 149 in your student's book. There are given statements and the colored boxes next to the statements. First, read the statements and tick the colored box next to the statements that are true for you. Then count the number of ticks in each column from 1 to 7. The columns with the highest total score will show your type of intelligence. Let's start. Well, if you have finished it, let's look at the results of the test. I have done this test too, and this is the result of my test. I have counted the number of ticks in each column, and I got the highest total score in the 6th column. So it means that the type of my intelligence is interpersonal. Good job! Well, pupils, your homework for the next lesson is academic task on page 49 in your student's book. You have already found out what type of learner you are, and your next task is to talk about your results in the test and how might these results help you in your studies. Well, pupils, let's reflect on our today's lesson. You must fill in this chart with a few words. In the first column, you will write about what haven't you understood from today's lesson. In the second column, you will write what was the most interesting for you. In the third one, you will write about what was the least interesting for you. And in the last one, about your strengths. Well, pupils, our lesson is over. Goodbye.